Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. I am doing this editorial after a break of around 15 days and I'm kind of glad to be back. My first topic is about Chintan Shivir of Congress, where Congress President Mrs. Sonia Gandhi said Congress will have a new rising. This is what she said. Let's talk about Chintan Shivir since nobody seems to be talking about it. So let's talk about Chintan Shivir. The next thing I want to talk about is 9.6 crore of people may go hungry, says a report that was published in the Scroll by 2030. 9.6 crores of people. But are we talking about it? Or are we more bothered about Taj Mahal and others? Let's discuss this. Let's get right into the show. Let's first talk about the Chintan Shivir. Now it is very unfortunate that the country's largest opposition party is doing a resurrection, is trying to kind of resurrect themselves, is trying to regroup themselves, but nobody seems to be talking about it. Media, especially mainline media, has not given much impetus to this, but TK. That is their prerogative. And what exactly did come out of this Chintan Shivir? A couple of things that I found good is the fact that in Chintan Shivir, they spoke about two things which I think is practical and I think is doable and I think that will help Congress. One is that they are doing something called as Bharat Jodo yatra, which is doing a yatra from Kashmir to Kanyakumari to connect with the voters. Good thing. Congress and their leaders have not been connecting with the voters, except for Rahul Gandhi and his sister in some part of the country, but Rahul Gandhi more so. Others have not been connecting with the people, so it will be a good idea to have a Bharat Jodo yatra, and that's a good thing that they are trying to do. So that's number one. The second good thing that they proposed is tickets. 50% of the tickets will be given to people under 50 years of age. Good idea. Good idea. India is a young country and you need young politicians to represent this young country. That's a good idea. Now, a few other things that they said, which I don't know whether it is going to make a difference or not, but all the same. The other things that they said is one family, one ticket rule, with exception only for another family member working in the party for at least 5 years. So one family, one ticket. This makes no sense because every person, that means a Gandhi, all three Gandhis will get the ticket because everybody is working in the party for 5 years, and any dynasty from the day the person is born is working for the party. So this 5-year thing and all is also, all this one ticket, one family and all is a good thing to say, but it is not practical. That is number one. No person should hold one party position for more than 5 years. Good idea. No person should hold. But then see, it is a good idea. It's obviously a good idea and a good thing to say. But do you have that kind of options? I mean, Congress couldn't even find a precedent for itself. So while I agree that this is a good idea, principally, but is this practical and will this be possible? The third thing they said is 50% of representation will do, which is what I told you. The fourth thing they said is party president to form an advisory group from among Congress working committee members to deliberate political challenges. You know, feel good, or you know, all these joining committees and one committee after another committee, another committee after another committee, all these are sheer bureaucratic jargons. There is nothing to it. All these committees never wins elections. Action on ground wins elections. So I don't know, more than just putting it in minutes of the meeting, whether this will have any good for the party. Political Affairs Committee in every state. Political Affairs Committee in every state is a good idea. Let us see how effective that Political Affairs Committee would be in that particular state. For instance, one doesn't even know what Congress is doing in a state like Maharashtra. In my state, where I stay, I don't see what Congress is doing. There are only two parties in Maharashtra. One is Nationalist Congress Party, that is run by Sharad Pawar. Other is Shiva Sena, that is run by Uddhav Thackeray. And the third, of course, the opposition party is run by Devendra Fadnavis of Bharatiya Janata Party. Okay, there are only three parties. I don't even know what Congress is doing in Maharashtra. I don't even know whether Congress exists in Maharashtra. Are they aware of that? Are they aware of what is going on ground? You see, there was one point in time, let me tell you, when you go to interior Maharashtra, forget about Mumbai, when you go to interior Maharashtra, let me tell you, Congress was a very formidable force. Congress was very relevant in interior Maharashtra. Today, if you go to interior Maharashtra, you have to go and seek where you find a Congress office or where you find a Congress man. Because neither is a Congress man available nor a Congress office is available. In any forum, in any activity, in any political activity, a Congress is not even relevant. They are not even there. So what are we talking about? While the idea is good, if this can be implemented and this can be made to happen, the idea is good. That said, Public Inside Election Management and National Training Department to be set up. Good idea. Good idea. Can you get these kind of professionals? Very good idea. Fantastic idea. If this actually happens, this would be very good for Congress, for sure. Task force will be set up to initiate organizational reforms. Again, one more talk. Task force will be set up to, yes, apna, in governmental jargons, and political parties are more or less as bureaucratic as governmental organization and corporations. This is one of those governmental jargons. Task force. Anything goes wrong, if they have to, if it's time to go home, then immediately the conclusion is that task force bana denge. And task force will handle karega. What task force? Ask tak what task force will handle what? Okay, task force was set up for farmer suicide. What happened? Task force was set up for increase of investment in India. What happened? So task force is set up for almost everything. But finally, the task force delivered nothing. So this task force and all, that's another jargon that is being made and that is being spoken about. But finally, giving us no results. Okay. Now, people who are talking about Congress, who are writing of Congress, let me tell you my view, my personal view. First of all, I don't think there ever will be a Congress-Mukt Bharat. There will never be. Okay. For at least next 50 years, Congress will be relevant in Indian politics. They could be relevant more, they could be relevant less, they could be relevant minuscule, but they will be relevant. Number one. Number two, they cannot be a third front. They cannot be a cohesive opposition to Bharatiya Janata Party without Congress. So if AAP and Trinamool Congress and everybody put together, if they say, we are going to, all that is not going to happen. Congress has to be there, because reason being that Congress is possibly the only party, not even Bharatiya Janata Party, Congress is the only party that is present from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Every nook and corner, there is a Congress office. Every nook and corner, there are congressmen present. Now, these congressmen are inactive. That's a different issue, but they are present. So, if these congressmen are made active, if these congressmen actually work the way they worked in 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, possibly things would be different. That could be an idea, but the fact remains that Congress-Mukta Bharat and all is not possible, at least not for the next 50 years to the best of my knowledge. Now, what are the few things that are given? You see, it is time we accept. Either we accept or we reject. That is a call we can take. But we accept the fact that Congress means Gandhis, Gandhis means Congress. Yeah, accept kar lo yaar. If you want Congress, if you think this is a party that you like or this is a party you want to vote for, you have to first accept this fact. If you don't accept this fact, you will never find a Congress without Gandhis. So, just imagine even this Chintan Shivir or whatever it is called, Chintan Shivir, the name that came about for president post was what Priyanka Gandhi. So it is, this entire universe of Congress revolves around Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi. It is just revolving around. Have you heard a new name in the last so many years? Have you heard one new name that comes from Congress, inside Congress, within Congress? Have you heard that? Saying that, no, let us make Gehlot the new president. Have you heard that? Let us make that gentleman who cries always, that gentleman from Ghulam Nabi Azad. Let us make him. Chalo, both rota hai. Come, make him. Rona to band hoga. So, have you heard that? Have you heard that? No, because nobody is willing to support another person except for Gandhi, because they also know that the glue is kept together by Gandhi, and the fact is, end of the day, Jamela kaun lega yaar? We are going to lose few more elections and all that bloody pressure will come on me. All that pressure will come on me. Why should I take the pressure? Let Gandhi take the pressure. So Gandhi takes the pressure. These guys roam around in their ironed khadi with 4 bodyguards. God knows who they are worried about, why do they need protection, but they will roam. I have seen even the former ministers and all in Maharashtra. People don't even recognize them. People don't even recognize these people because they were relevant in 1980s and 1990s, possibly when I was young. They were relevant then, and now also they roam with 4 bodyguards. Who is going to do any harm to you? God knows. But that's what these congressmen are about. So Congress is Gandhi and Gandhi is Congress. Now the PM candidate, point number 2, the PM candidate may not necessarily be Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Gandhi. PM candidate could be somebody else. That is possible. But Congress means Gandhi, and Gandhi will run Congress. This is given fact, whether we like it or we don't. Okay, it will always remain, point number 3, a dynast party. It will always remain a dynast party. You see, a Rajesh Pilot's son, Sachin Pilot, will remain relevant. Rajiv Gandhi's son, Rahul Gandhi, will remain relevant. Murli Devra's son, Milind Devra, will remain relevant. So it is going to be a party of dynast. Whether you make 5 years, only one ticket per family, unless and until the other guy has worked for 5 years and all that. All this is just play of words. It is actually not relevant. So 5 years it will remain. So this is going to remain a party of dynasty. So that's something that is given. So let us be very clear about that. The third thing is, it will be a party which is liberal. Okay, this is the only party that I see going to be liberal. Liberal matlab, if you say something against Rahul Gandhi, they will not send police to your house. That will not happen with this party. Whether it is Trinamool Congress, whether it is AAP, or of course Bharatiya Janata Party, so we are seeing. Okay, all these parties. AAP got a Punjab, and here you say something against Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, next day you have Punjab police on your doorstep. So this is going to happen. Okay, the only party that will not get into such kind of politics is Congress. While we criticize their certain character, you should also appreciate the character. This is one thing you can expect from Congress, that they will be a liberal party. And possibly, if they rule, you can expect India to go back to what it was before 2004, where people could speak and journalists are not arrested and all. This only Congress can offer. This may not be possible if AAP comes in defeating a BJP, or a TMC comes in defeating a BJP. It will be the same. Situation around will be the same. The same regression, the same oppression, everything will be the same. Some may call it in the name of religion, some may call it in some other name. The police coming to your doorstep, if you say something against the leader, something against the master, the supreme leader and all, this is going to be the same. The only party outside of that is Congress. You may not face all that. The fifth point that I want to make, I know a lot of people must be writing down, I am Congressman and all that you write, no problem. But this is a fact, which is what I wanted to say. Congress cannot survive with Hindutva. Okay, this hard Hindutva, soft Hindutva, Hinduism versus Hindutva, all this. I said this before, I am saying this now. All this they have to give up. Baba, some brands has got some character. You can't go away from your character, change your character overnight, a character that you built for over 100 years. You can't change that character and all of a sudden become something else. So, nahi hoga. If you are going to try and play this Hindutva, soft Hindutva, hard Hindutva, Hinduism, Hindutva and all, this is not going to work. It will not work. Congress has to be what they were, a secular party. They have to stand for secularism, they have to insist on secularism, and they have to be robust on what they stand. That's the only way that Congress can thrive and survive and thrive. Okay, one thing, and the last thing I wanted to say. I mean, these are things we should understand about Congress. Let's be very clear. See, Congress is good when it comes to governance. Okay, 2014 was bad, 2004 was bad, 2006 was bad, UPA 2 was bad and all that. All that is debatable. Let us talk about that, and let us talk about others also and what they did. I am not going to get into that at the moment, but that being said, Congress is fairly decent when it comes to governance, especially when it comes to economic governance, when it comes to economics. But Congress, okay, is bad opposition. Congress is a bad opposition party. They don't know how to be an opposition party. BJP, I will give more marks to them as an opposition party, because I think BJP is a fantastic opposition party. Look at what they are doing in Maharashtra. They are a brilliant opposition party. Congress is a bad opposition party. So that's the status. These are the points that we need to remember about Congress, and these are the facts. To my mind, I think these are the given as far as Congress is concerned. Baki aap, you can debate till the cows come home, but these are facts about Congress. So that's that's what I wanted to talk about Chintan Shivir and Congress. Now let's get into our next topic. You see, if you go to see in the last 15 days, what has been dominating our media? Topics like bulldozer has been dominating our media. Topic like Gyan Vyapi Mosque, which is even dominating today, if it's even trending today, has been dominating our media. Topics like Taj Mahal has been dominating our media. Topics like Qutub Minar has been dominating our media. Loudspeaker, of course, has been dominating our media. Mughals have been dominating our media. This is what our mainline media has been talking about through and through in the last 2-3 weeks. Through and through. In the last 2 weeks, to be precise. Okay, even before that actually, but last 2 weeks. You see, in the meantime, did you know that 9.06 crores of people will go hungry due to climate change by 230? 9.06 crore people, crore Indians, not people, Indians will go hungry by 2030 because of climate change. Did we know that? Of course, nobody spoke about it. Nobody spoke about it. Did you know that India's retail inflation surged to 7.79%, which is the highest in the last 8 years? Did you know that? No, because nobody spoke to you about it. Nobody bothered to speak to you about it. Did you know, for instance, on 9th of May, the rupee recorded an all-time low of 77.44 rupees per dollar. It was a record all-time low. Did we know all this? We didn't, because we were so busy with mosque, because we were so busy with loudspeakers, because we were so busy with Taj Mahal, because we were so busy with Mughals. We were so busy with all of them. We didn't know all this. Till I see you next time, and that is tomorrow at 10 p.m. Namaskar.